While many in the media have been quick to call out the slow and go transition to electrified personal transportation, the proverbial switch has been flipped, and our driving future will undoubtedly be electric. Well, today I have James Bell, Head of Public Relations with Kia America. Good morning, James. How are you?
Good morning to you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. Always have a good James on the show. Always.
Well, you make it easy, my friend.
All right. With so many options available, what should consumers consider when buying a new vehicle?
That's a great question. And the easiest answer is actually pretty easy. Consider themselves. How are you really going to use your next vehicle? And I bring that up because there's a funny thing about the American car buying psyche that leads us to buy more vehicle than we need. If you're buying an SUV because you're going to be driving to and from work, why did you buy a three row? You don't need that extra space and carrying that extra weight. Let's say you're also buying an SUV and you get the one with the cool off-road suspension. It might look good, but if you're driving to and from Costco or running to the store now and then, that's a waste of money. So really, my first consideration when you're looking at electrified transportation as your next choice is to really do a deep dive in yourself. How many miles are you really driving? How many people do you really have with you? How much room do you need for cargo? And what kind of range are you going to really need? When you look at all those factors, it gets pretty easy.
Wow, you know what? I'm interested in looking at a car too. I like everything that you said. Now, James, what are the differences between ICE, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and all electric models?
Sure. So ICE or internal combustion is essentially what we're all used to for decades now, a gasoline engine that takes you to and from places. But more importantly, let's think about the moment when you come to a stoplight. Turns red, you sit at the stoplight. What's the engine do? Keeps running. Now, we jump to a hybrid electric vehicle. There's now a small battery that's part of the powertrain system. So that when you come back to that next, or come up to your next red light, what does it happens? The engine turns off. You're now running your air conditioning, your headlights, your windshield wipers, whatever you need on electric power. So it's being much more efficient, obviously, because the engine is a huge draw of gasoline for no reason whatsoever. Then you light turns green, go to take off. A hybrid will use the battery to get you going, and then it isn't until you maybe merging onto the freeway or towing lots of heavy weight. That's when the gasoline engine turns on automatically. So you get a much more efficient experience. Plug-in hybrid is just like a hybrid, but adds a larger battery pack, one that you can actually charge at home overnight using just a standard 110 outlet in your garage or off an extension cord into your driveway. And by charging that overnight, like you do your cell phone, you now have about 40 miles of range the next day for your drive. And the average American drives, excuse me, about 30 miles per day. So let's think about that. If I'm driving 30 miles a day and I get 40 miles of electric range in my car, I'm saving a lot of money. I'm not going to the gas station but once a month, if that. So that's a great choice because then, of course, as a hybrid, also, when you need to take that longer drive, you've got that gasoline power ready to get you going. And then the last step is candidly is our future, and that's full electric vehicles. Essentially, a big battery with a steering wheel and four tires attached to it. And in many Kia EVs, that range is now up to well over 300 miles on a charge. So again, looking at that 30 miles that most Americans drive per day, and I've got a vehicle that gives me 300 miles of range, I'm charging maybe once a week, if that. And we're seeing, a vast amount of new charging stations starting to pop up all around the country. So it's going to be a great option. So again, it's really about looking at yourself, looking how you're going to use that next vehicle, and then finding the electrification fit that is the best match.
James, how can consumers ease into electrification?
I think the easiest way is to, again, look at their real lifestyle and then make the electrification choice merge that lifestyle. If you're the kind of person that says, hey, it's Friday night, let's drive to grandma's house, or let's drive to Vegas, or do something kind of spur of the moment. And, we're still a little bit short, maybe 18 months short of seeing charging stations as often as we see gasoline stations. So maybe that full electric is not your best choice. Then hybrid would be the way to go. But if you're like most people, just kind of commuting around town, picking the kids up at school, running the grocery store, things like that, the EV is going to be your best choice. So it's really about merging the technology that's available with your life.
Now, what are the important features to look for in the latest electrified models?
I think there's two things that really come into play. Number one is the design, both interior and exterior. Because you don't have that big, noisy, oily gasoline engine in the front, you can really do some interesting things from a design perspective, make them look much more interesting, much more sleek and more futuristic. But more really, it's on the inside. Because if you don't have that powertrain in there, it's not intruding into the cockpit of the car. You have more room for your things and your passengers. So that's the first part of it. And the second part is just looking at that range again. Once upon a time, electric vehicle might only get about 80 miles on a charge. Now we're well over 300, going even higher. So between the, just that kind of future preparation for our next phase of personalized transportation, EVs are the way to go.
Now, where can we go to learn more?
Oh, that's easy. Please go to kia.com. And there you can find a fantastic section where you can plug in information about your family, about your needs, and come up with some great electrified options.
This week with James Bell, Head of Public Relations, Kia America. And I'm going to go to my local Kia dealer. I'm going to say James Bell said I can pick any car I want and I can drive it out.
Give it a try. It can't hurt.
James, thanks for joining us on Morning Blend.
All right. Thank you.